So Yourstory has published a article recently called "The Four Key Trends Shaping the Future of B2B E-commerce." And in this commerce hot take, I wanted to unpick these four trends and give you the take from my perspective based on my experience in consulting to B2B commerce merchants over the last nearly 3 years. And one of the first call outs that before we get into those four trends is the compound annual growth rate forecast for B2B e-commerce. And so it says that with a projected compound annual growth rate or CAGR of 20.2% from 2023 to 2030, the market's value is set to soar. And certainly based on what I'm witnessing in terms of trends in the market, B2B e-commerce is so far behind in terms of maturity versus B2C, D2C e-commerce that I see this trend being absolutely achievable and doable given the fact that there is so much catching up to do for B2B e-commerce versus D2C and B2C. Now, the first trend that they want to talk about is the shift to marketplaces. And it says marketplaces have emerged as a dominant force in the B2B e-commerce ecosystem. And then they go on to describe a little bit further what those trends mean and how they play out for B2B merchants. But I'm witnessing this myself. Most of the B2B merchants I work with list on one or more, both B2B and sometimes B2C, D2C marketplaces as well. So if we look at Amazon Business, growing exponentially. If we look at Faire, Faire, growing exponentially. If we look at Alibaba, growing exponentially. So, and there's many other smaller and niche and vertical specific B2B marketplaces that are coming into their own as we speak. So definitely, as we saw marketplaces come to the fore for B2C and D2C to where now marketplace sales outpace individual website sales, we are seeing the same trend start to accelerate in the B2B world. Absolutely. Access to flexible credit is another trend that they call out, or we could just simply say access to different types of payment methods in B2B. I'm absolutely seeing this myself as a trend for B2B merchants to offer more than the traditional buy on account, pay monthly type of scenario. So we're seeing, in addition to on account, we're seeing new new customers that sign up to B2B merchant websites being able to have access to credit card payments, buy now, pay later, all sorts of other payment methods that we would traditionally expect to only see in the B2C and D2C world. And we're also seeing a trend whereby even if a customer is on a credit account, if they exceed their credit account, hit their credit stop limit, then other payment methods are still available to them at checkout, i.e. business credit card, i.e. direct credit payment before the order will be processed, i.e. buy now, pay later provided by third parties. So we're seeing that trend absolutely play out right now. Transitioning to digital first is another trend that they call out. Now, I wouldn't say that most B2B brands as of today are digital first. However, they are realizing because of the pandemic that they need to offer digital channels and paths to purchase because during the pandemic, their field sales teams, their AEs, their BDMs, BDRs, etc., were not able to get out and visit their customers on site as they traditionally would. So they rapidly had to add digital channels and their customers were crying out for digital channels. Even now that we're pretty much at the end of the pandemic, we're still seeing that hangover in the sense that B2B consumers and buyers and purchasing managers are expecting digital channels to be available to them. So we're talking EDI, self-service e-commerce, and digital punch-out capability being absolute expectation depending on the size of the B2B customer that we're referring to. The biggest expect EDI, medium size, small to medium size, generally expect self-service e-commerce, and then buying organizations with complex procurement systems usually require punch-outs. That's what we're seeing. Finally, what we're seeing is generative AI transformative power. And they talk about how AI is going to start impacting B2B digital buying experiences. Now, really what they're referring to is they're saying, from personalized product recommendations, dynamic pricing, improved inventory forecasting, and automated customer support, generative AI is permeating all aspects of B2B commerce. Now, I would say if we double click on this, that this is no different to B2C or D2C e-commerce. In all the ways that AI is disrupting B2C and D2C e-commerce, it is now starting to disrupt B2B. So while this is not a trend that is unique to B2B, it absolutely is going to affect B2B as these systems, technologies, and design patterns of technology stacks for commerce start to translate between the B2C world into the B2B world. We're going to see AI's impact grow ever more in the B2B space without question. So I think they've made some good call outs here. Some of these call outs are pretty generic in nature. However, absolutely, I'm seeing all of these four trends play out right now in the B2B e-commerce space. So keep an eye out because this is such a rapidly moving environment.